This is some nice work. This is some nice work from Tyler, actually, which we should finish, right? I mean, this is a sort of this is sort of a fun thing, but stretchable words, and so because people, they're sort of reflecting more human behavior, like yes, with hundreds of E's. So this one is 140 characters here. This is, which really, well, I don't know. Did we actually have one in the data set? Do you remember? It's a long time ago. Yeah. I think we sat down and tried to type one out to make sure we had one. Well, this is ridiculous, but there's a whole, and so Tyler did this when he was in high school, actually. This is, and it's a great little project. The problem with this, and this is actually quite, so ha is a very important word on Twitter. People use it a lot. 4 ha's is a little weird. Like that's like, and 5 or 6 is your like evil villain kind of laughter, So that word, and certainly this word, they're in our top 5,000. We have ratings for them, and we score words. And of course, if you go, and then we have 10 languages eventually, and you go across other languages. I'll show you this later on, but there's, Spanish is JA. There are lots of different versions of this. There's one though so Brazilian Portuguese is KKKKKKK, right? It's much easier to type, right? So it's all like, so it's just one set of keys, which I didn't know about until like I made one of these pictures and it sort of just popped out and I'm like, what is that thing? Because there were all these long K, like these sets of Ks. So then you go and Google it. But you can go wrong with this, right? So there's sort of, if you wanted to, this is unnecessary, I suppose, but you're going to mistype this at some point. So there are all these little error structures. You can. Do you see this with a certain 4-letter word? Oh, the stretchable words? Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But not, so, and it's a little bit here, right? So ha is not something people do too much. But the one you're talking about, right? So 1 U, prevalence, 2 U's less. Because if you're going to start more, right, you got to launch into some U's, right? So it's at least 3. So you see this sort of little dip like that. Is that right? I remember that. Yeah, it's been a while, that's right. But like you're not going to type Y-E-E-S. You're going to really get into it and put some S's in there. It's harder on phones, I think, right? You can't hold it down because it's like tries to give you a bunch of accents or something. Yeah. It limits your rage. It limits your rage. What's that? It's actually easier with ha because you I'll come to it later on, but I'm giving this away. In Korean, there's the pi. They use a pi and I think it's anime. So on anime, when someone cries like really hard, they just tears go like stream like this. They just go right, and their faces like that kind of, right? Their eyes go like this, and they go. So that's a crying thing. So that's an anti-particle sort of. It's like you can just type a bunch of pies together, and that's like wow. It's the only time I've seen a negative one though, right? Because they're usually all on this positive side, which is the J or K, many Ks. Yeah. Which is another interesting thing, and it's about this Pollyanna hypothesis thing that we'll get to, which is, right, there are more positive words than negative words, and if you think so a good way to kind of get at that is, this is sort of just a touch of that, is that we have these things, but we don't have the negative version so much. And we tend to have, so we'll say happy and unhappy and not unhappy, but we don't say unsad, for example, right? So the root word is usually, where we add unto is usually positive, and then we go, right? So happy's out here, unhappy's here, not unhappy is not happy. It's somewhere in the middle. But we don't say unsad and I'm not unsad, right? We don't negate yeah. Generally.